The RSVP project is an Erasmus Plus project. It is a strategic partnership for youth, instilling the research culture of research and the upping the professional profile of youth leadership and youth professionals. Its focus was, and it still is, the 10 most sought after skills by employers in the year 2020. The thing is, then we wanted to extend them to the year 2025, but in the middle, of course, COVID happened. The project got the brunt of the COVID pandemic. It had its mobilities disrupted. However, it brought along also an important reflection, because the 10 skills that we wanted the youth leaders to reflect about for better employability, and so that they can also coach their youth better, have changed, and maybe new perspectives have been developed thanks to the COVID pandemic and its disruption. For example, the first, of course, was the logistical part and the skill of coordinating with others, because now most of us have been stuck to working at home, changing in dynamics, even the way we worked with partners and with your colleagues. And of course, we had to expect also our employees to coordinate with others better. So the people management, that's the second skill, had to change. The dynamics had to change, more flexibility was expected. In fact, another skill is the cognitive flexibility, because we are now permanently distracted between Zooms, and maybe we have less time commuting because we're working from home, we are traveling less. However, we have more distraction and we have more interaction online, which has its own also psychological and energy draining element. It brought about the need, more than a competence, of complex problem solving, especially when certain jobs especially depend on mobility, on human interaction. So there was a complex problem solving relating to technology, to ways of communicating, to organizing your time. And this meant that there is a different form or different format for the other competence, judgment and decision making, because judgment had to be made on the basis of COVID restrictions, keeping your quality of your service up. There were industries that suffered more, so judgment and decision making had to be made to maintain the viability of a business, like tourism, travel, education, that had to change to go online. So judgment and decision making became much more important than before. In the case of, for example, service orientation, especially in business relating to services, the adaptation to giving your service online instead of going and meeting people face to face. The thing is that of course your clients had to change as well. So because they are in the same position as you are. So service orientation became more of an issue, even extends to product development, etc. Emotional intelligence became important between management and staff, between staff and clients, between staff between themselves, especially when it comes to understanding or having more need to understand whether you're being understood, whether your message is clear, whether there is Zoom fatigue. So there is this emotional intelligence linked also with creativity of finding solutions, maintaining and, for example, incentivizing people to come for a training online instead of face-to-face. So their creativity had become very close to problem solving, to complex problem solving. Critical thinking became very important, and negotiation. Sometimes it meant critical thinking and negotiation. There are two competences, separate ones. However, I see them that they changed in the same way, that we need negotiation and critical thinking about ourselves, about how our performance had to be changed, upped in a certain way. Our knowledge of technology, for example, critical thinking as in self-criticism and analysis, and self-awareness about how COVID stressed ourselves, because knowing how our competences are being put under strain and how we need to change them will affect our employability. And maybe one final reflection would be that maybe employers, when thinking of employability and of how their business grew, is also a good analysis of how their employees and their team has survived the COVID pandemic that is still ongoing, of course. So maybe this could be a good way of looking at your staff, seeing how they fared, how you supported them, and of course, giving kudos to your members of staff and to your team as to how it came out better and different, as life is better and different after COVID, hopefully. Time will tell.